Our approach to community leadership is a very collaborative one. And as a result, we do nothing alone. And it is only through a collaborative approach to community leadership that we can find shared solutions to any issue, let alone a complex social one. The mental health crisis was evident to everyone, but mainstream philanthropy wasn't really addressing it. And we debated whether or not we should try. Insight Region, our Center for Data and Research, started with a report looking at the data and the extent of the issue. And we dedicated our annual Shape of the Region conference solely to the topic of mental health as well. One of our panelists at that event was Dr. Sandy Chung, a local pediatrician. But she launched a program several years earlier called VMAP, which is essentially a training program for general health practitioners to learn how to do an intake protocol for patients that are presenting with some mental health needs for the purpose of earlier intervention. We weren't the only funder in the room that day. There were others listening to Sandy Chung, and a group of 18 funders later came together to form the Virginia Funders Cohort that is focused on expanding the VMAP program across the entire Commonwealth of Virginia.
VMAP has saved many lives. For example, I had a patient, a 14-year-old, who had bipolar disorder, whose child psychiatrist had retired, and he couldn't get access to care. At the time, VMAP didn't exist, and that young man ended up shooting someone in a fight because his disease had gotten out of control. He ended up in the juvenile justice system. That other man lost his life. Had VMAP existed, that wouldn't have happened. And we know today that there are children all over the Commonwealth who are getting access to care within 30 minutes. That is so different than the way it used to be, that we know we're helping families and we're helping children every single day.
Mental health is a huge issue. It's hard to know where to even start addressing it. But if we've learned anything, it's that philanthropy has a meaningful role to play in raising awareness and in improving access to mental health services.
The Community Foundation for Northern Virginia was essential in order to expand VMAP and its reach. The efforts that they had, including the Shape of the Region conference, was essential in bringing together stakeholders who were interested in youth mental health. And by bringing together multiple foundations, we were actually able to be more impactful and reach more children than we could with one foundation alone.
Melwood is excited about the Wish Center project because we're leveraging our experience in breaking down barriers to help the marginalized community right here on the Richmond corridor in Fairfax County. What's exciting about this center is we are bringing our long-standing opportunities to break down and wrap around services to support people as they pursue the social and economic mobility that we know is all too absent in this community. Far too often in marginalized communities, we see social and economic barriers to employment that are often outside of the individual's control. The grant funding from the Community Foundation for Northern Virginia has helped Melwood to hire an intake navigator. Carla Claret is from the community, and she's been hired as our intake navigator to work directly with her neighbors and friends to bring them into the Wish Center and the opportunities we have here.
Here is really hard in this area because sometimes you need to decide. I pay my rent, or I eat, or I'm going to study. It's hard because you need to pay your rent, you need to eat, and you need to put your dreams in one side because you're not able to pay. Wishes, that's the. You came here, you learn, you take classes, you have better job, and then it's possible you growing and you give the opportunity to your kids growing too.
What's exciting about this opportunity and what's innovative about the Wish Center is that it pairs the wraparound services of breaking down social and economic barriers to employment with the training that we see in other workforce development centers. This is a really innovative model that stands it apart from other workforce development centers. We offer a variety of different training programs. You can learn carpentry, 3D printing, welding. This is right here in the community, so it gets rid of some of the barriers that are typically found when you try to get into a workforce development program. You don't have to get on a bus. You don't have to travel. We are right here, and we have everything you need, and established partners like Melwood to bring employers to the table and make sure that they have access to these great and qualified candidates who just finished their training.
My personal dream is to ultimately get into software engineering as well as artificial intelligence and coding, and to be able to provide a better life for my son without having to be concerned with bills and living paycheck to paycheck.
This center is an amazing resource. Let me just say that. And majority of the time I come in when they have events. We just came maybe a few weeks ago. I think it was like a STEAM fest. And me and my kids were able to build like architects, fly drones. They got to see ice cream being made from scratch. And they really enjoy it. Coming out like on Saturday mornings. It was amazing.
Which is the place where the dreams come true. In this area, a lot of people have problems with the self-esteem, mental health problems, depression, and which is like that little area when you find support. Somebody hear you, and maybe you not feel lonely. You have wish, or the people who work in wish to support you.
My future is absolutely brighter because of the WISH program. Absolutely. I was in a dark place before I came here. I am just in such a much better place because I don't feel like each day that I have to wake up and worry about making ends meet. I see the light, and I finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's because of the WISH program that I feel that way.
My future goal for graduated cosmetology is to open up my own salon. So I meet with the team regularly, where they help me to come up with a plan so that I can move forward in my career. I end up gaining a car through Northern Family Services, and I just want to show my kids that you don't have to move to a whole nother state to be successful in life either. You could do it right here in the area that you grew up with.
I believe if we do this work properly, we will transform lives. We will help end some of the generational poverty that exists here, and we will help improve future generations. It's my wish and my hope that we'll be successful in transforming many, many lives as a result of this effort.